Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The music pulsed through the chandelier-lit ballroom, soft jazz weaving into laughter and clinking glasses. My hand was still wrapped around a glass of champagne when my wife, Lila, turned toward me with that familiar playful glint in her eyes, the same one she used to have when we first met. But tonight, something in that look felt wrong. She leaned close, her perfume, jasmine and smoke, curling around me. Her lips parted slightly. "Kiss me," she whispered. I stared at her for a long second. My reflection flickered in her wine-dark eyes, and suddenly, a rush of memories hit me. The late-night phone calls she claimed were work, the constant texting she brushed off, the perfume that didn't smell like hers on her scarf last week. When she tilted her head up, I smiled. "Not in the mood to taste your lover," I said quietly. Her smile froze. The air between us shifted like glass cracking under pressure. For a moment, the party disappeared, only her and me standing amid a sea of strangers pretending not to notice. "Excuse me," she said, her voice catching somewhere between disbelief and fear. I didn't answer. I just watched the flicker of panic ripple behind her eyes. Across the room, her so-called colleague, Adrian, was laughing too loudly with a group of executives. His laugh was nervous. When his eyes met mine, he looked away almost instantly. Lila followed my gaze. Her throat bobbed, and she forced a shaky laugh. "Are you drunk, Ethan?" she murmured, the tone that used to charm everyone. "You're embarrassing yourself." I placed my glass down carefully, like if I moved too fast, everything would break. "Funny," I said. "That's what I thought when I saw the texts." Her breath hitched. "I miss your lips," I continued softly. "That one stood out to me. Especially the photo you sent him after your meeting last Thursday." Her face drained of color. "Ethan, it's not what it looks like." I stepped closer. "You kissed him, didn't you? Right before coming home to me." The room suddenly felt too bright, too loud. People glanced our way but quickly turned back to their conversations, pretending not to see the quiet implosion happening in front of them. Lila's fingers trembled around her wine glass. "We need to talk in private," she said, her voice low, trembling. I nodded slowly. "Sure. Let's go talk." We slipped into the hallway outside the ballroom. The music faded behind the thick wooden doors. In the dim corridor, her facade cracked. "Ethan, I'm sorry," she whispered. "It was stupid, a mistake. It didn't mean anything." I laughed bitterly. "A mistake? That's what you call letting another man touch you while I was home planning your birthday surprise." Her eyes filled with tears. I was confused. "You've been distant lately. We've both been. So that's your excuse? That I was distant?" "It wasn't like that," she said quickly. "He was there. He listened. I just slipped." I pressed my hands against the wall beside her head, not touching her, but close enough that she flinched. "You slipped into his arms. Into his bed. Which part of that was the accident, Lila?" She covered her face. "Please, stop. You're hurting me." "No," I said softly. "You hurt us." The silence that followed was heavier than any shouting could have been. The sound of muffled laughter from the party seeped under the door, cruel and distant. After a long pause, she said, "It's over. I ended it before tonight. I swear." I searched her eyes for truth. Maybe part of me still wanted to believe her. Maybe the man I used to be would have forgiven her. But then I saw the faint lipstick stain on her wrist, the same shade she always wore, and a smudge of someone else's cologne still clinging to her dress. "You ended it?" I asked, my voice breaking. "Then why did he just text you 15 minutes ago?" Her eyes widened. She didn't need to check her phone to know I wasn't bluffing. I took a step back, suddenly exhausted. "You should go," I said quietly. "Ethan, please. I love you." I shook my head. "You loved being loved." Her tears came freely now. "I didn't mean to lose you." "You already did." I turned to leave, but she grabbed my wrist. "Don't walk away like this," she pleaded. "Please, we can fix it. I'll do anything." I looked down at her hand clutching mine, then slowly pulled free. You can't fix something you chose to break. As I walked toward the exit, I caught sight of Adrian standing near the door to the ballroom. He looked pale, nervous, unsure whether to approach. When our eyes met, he dropped his gaze to the floor. I paused beside him and said quietly, "You should tell her husband she's still wearing your scent." He looked up in shock. "Ethan, Save it," I said, then walked out into the night. Outside, the cold air hit me like a slap. The city lights shimmered across the wet pavement. I stood there for a moment, watching the cars glide by, my reflection distorted in every passing windshield. For years, I believed marriage was built on faith, not proof. But tonight, proof was all I had left. I could still hear her voice echoing in my mind. It didn't mean anything. But betrayal always means something. It means the person you trusted most chose someone else over your shared truth. I walked toward the parking lot, each step heavy but strangely freeing. When I reached my car, I leaned against the door and looked back at the building. Through the glass, I saw her standing in the hallway, small and broken, watching me leave. For a fleeting second, my chest tightened. Part of me still wanted to run back, to hold her, to pretend it was all a misunderstanding. But I couldn't. Not anymore. I got into the car and started the engine. As the headlights cut through the darkness, I whispered to myself, "Let her kiss whoever she wants now. I'm done tasting lies." The radio hummed softly, a sad old tune about lost love. The night outside stretched endlessly ahead, lonely but honest. For the first time in months, I didn't feel trapped. I drove away without looking back.